8:30 in the studio, and that's what we are going to do. We're going to slow it right down to have our conversation for this morning. For today, Wednesday, the 31st day of May. Welcome to On the Road. I'm yours truly, Sinclair, also known as GQ. And in the studio with me this morning, I have Inspector Phipps. How are you doing this morning, Inspector? And welcome.
Good morning, all. I'm doing fine today, sir.
All right, great. Well, our topic for this morning, before we open the lines and hear from our listeners or audience here, as Eliza said, we're going to be looking at driving impairment. So let's start the conversation right there. What is that?
Well, in short, driving impairment is where persons operating a motor vehicle and is affected by certain temporary impairment conditions. Some of those conditions are driving under the influence of alcohol, fatigue, and also distractions, and driving and using drugs and medicine.
As it relates to SINKITs, what is the number one cause for us here, though? Is it alcohol? Is it drugs?
Well, from an investigator point of view, most of the accidents, and I would say distractions. Distractions. Reason being because when you listen to some of the explanations given as to the cause of an accident, you find some would say, "Officer, I just glimpsed over, and by the time I look up, I was in the back of the other vehicle." So there you see they're not focused, their attention was somewhere else. And so you have to be focused when you are driving.
So distraction for SINKITs.
Distractions, yeah.
That's a good thing, right? Because we don't want it to be alcohol and drugs and those kind of things. That's a good thing. As it relates to that aspect, what is the legal consequences, if I can put it that way, for driving impaired?
Well, while driving under the impaired, if you get caught, for example, if you're driving under the influence of alcohol, I'll use this one, you would be requested to do the test, and if the test is above, you can be arrested. Well, you will be arrested and be prosecuted for the offense. And sometimes driving under the impaired, even though they are temporary condition, they sometimes turned out to be permanent impairment.
Now, what are the charges? The charges the same straight across the board for all? Or is it different? So distraction charge is different to alcohol charge?
No, because remember, if you're driving under the influence, your vision, your thinking, everything would be just opposite. Your reaction timing would be different. Some of the time it may cause you to speed up, slow, brake suddenly, and the constant swerving in the road could cause you to run off the road and cause an accident and injure other road users as well. So once that happens, we would give you the appropriate charge with the driving under the influence and more charges. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. And then the authorities will judge you accordingly.
Well,
and charge you.
The magistrate will deal with that.
Okay. Now, last time you were here, you made mention of taking individuals to the hospital for under the influence. How is that process done? And give us a scenario where that can happen.
Okay, if, for example, it's not just only accident. If we are out doing vehicle checkpoint and we come upon a driver and we smell the strong scent of alcohol coming from his breath, and we recognize the way how he speaks, and so we would request him to have that test done. He would give consent. If he doesn't give consent, it's an arrestable offense. Once he gives consent, he would sign to that certificate, and we'll take him to the hospital, and the medical protection will do the rest.
Okay. And that process is it treated as an urgent process, meaning you get it back in a couple of hours? What's the process like?
You can get it back in a couple of hours. You can.
Okay.
Once they follow through at the hospital, you can get it back.
And then
so we would have the results. And
right.
So that result would be form of the case file to be prosecuted.
And then you'll alert the individual as well? Or the individual will be in your...
He would be in your custody, so he would be charged.
Do we have breathalyzers? That's a question that came up the last time you were here that we didn't get to ask.
I know we have a breathalyzer, but the law as it relates to the breathalyzer, that wasn't passed. But by now I think we would need an up-to-date one and the law to pass to have us using that breathalyzer.
Now that you mentioned up-to-date law, what are some of the strategies? And I'm assuming up-to-date, recommending up-to-date laws is one of them, as it relates to driving impaired.
Well, as the inspector in charge of traffic, I am recommending to my bosses that we should have the law as it relates to breathalyzer be enacted. Also, I would like to see mass communication in terms of publicizing and further educating the general public on impairment driving. Mm-hmm. I also would like to see billboards around, and from the traffic standpoint, we'll be out there and we'll be doing clips, upfront clips, so persons could have an idea as to what we intended to do and what we are trying to educate them on.
I'm going to open the lines now with your permission, Inspector, so we can hear from the public, just in case they have a question as it relates to our topic today. Or maybe they would like to address something else of their concern. 465-2555-2555. Let's take this first call. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, Police GQ.
Good morning, Culture.
And good morning, Officer Phipps.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, this is Police Without Pay. And I'm going to say everything that I know and see. Now, I put myself in a position yesterday just to see if police really on the road. And I haven't seen one police vehicle within the space of 8 hours pass on the government main road. That's one. That is what you call lack of street patrolling. And secondly, one guy was pop-wheeling his bicycle through an alley where some little children were playing, and when the child get up to run out the bike and fall down and groot up a whole shin on the sidewalk. Well, I want to know how many, if you all have on record, how many people with pop wheel in the bike or the motorcycle in the courthouse. How many of them you all carry to the courthouse for pop wheeling? And the last thing, some years ago, Taiwan gave St. Kitts a load of motorcycle for the police, and none of them motorcycles have the front end crashing to nothing that you could call it right off. They're up the police station in the garage, laying down in there. I don't want to take them up now and they carry them somewhere else. But it is only a little electrical or gasoline problem they had. And they should not have been there parked up, because I tell them there is a good friend of mine by the name of William DeGrasse. He's an expert in fixing motorcycle. Gave him the job. Nobody took me on. I said so when my good friend Carl Keynes was in charge of the traffic. He said he old now, so he can't ride bike. That is no excuse to get them fixed. So those are my question and my comment. Thank you very much for listening. The two police.
Thank you for your call, Culture. Before we take any other calls, you want to address Culture questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Caller, with regards to the motorcycles, my team at the traffic department, for the year so far, we have dealt with 30 accidents involving motorcycle, and majority of those accidents are before the court. Also, most of the drivers, they were injured as well. As regards to the motorbikes at our department, we have 3 working bikes at the department.
Okay. Good morning, you're live.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
May I speak?
Yes, you can.
Good morning. I really thought this morning we would have been discussing the major accident in the roundabout there at Togo. because that was at the East City roundabout. Because the events in the roundabout are speaking for themselves, but yet the traffic department has failed to make the roundabout give way to a right and single file. Another thing I need to speak about this morning. We need to distinguish between what is courtesy and what is law. If I'm going to Bastille by the brewery, the bottling company, and someone indicates to me they're going to jail if I stop and allow them to go, that is courtesy. When I drive into any car park by the grocery in any part of the country, and I see you backing out, and they refuse to wait and drive behind you, that is where law comes into the picture. Because there are many things about driving which you're not telling the public and asking drivers to pay attention to. If you're backing your car into a street to reverse your direction, someone sees you, they come right up underneath of you. Because what they fail to understand and ignore is that the car would never go in a straight line on the curve, and on the widest part of the curve, you can touch them. But people that see you backing into a street to change the direction, when they can stay 10 yards from you, they want to come 10 inches. And my last question to you, officer, maybe you drive. Can anybody look on the two sides of the car at the same time? Because you're taking duty and attention, you know. You look on the left, you look on the right. When you look on the left, somebody is coming behind you from the right. Thank you very much.
Any responses to that call?
Caller, I feel as though if someone see another driver backing out, it is courtesy that you stay back and you even assist that person to come, especially if you are moving from a park position. You assist that driver.
The roundabout issue, he said that he thought you would have addressed this morning at Central Bank, the Central Bank roundabout, or the roundabout close to Central Bank.
Well, as it relates to the roundabout, if you are traveling or if you want to go to Frigate Bay traveling from the Kim Collins Highway, you stay on the left lane and you keep going. And if you want to go to Rams, you go on the right lane. You know, we give way to traffic on the right. Mm-hmm. So that is common knowledge. And so that's an easier way to remember how to use the roundabout. If you're traveling from the Kim Collins to Frigate Bay and you want to go Frigate Bay, you stay on the left. If you want to go to Rams, you stay on the right. Likewise, if you're traveling from Pond Road and you want to go to the Kim Collins or Frigate Bay, you stay on the left. If you want to go to Rams or back and to Pond Road, you stay on the right.
Okay. 465-2555. If you have any concerns or questions that you'd like to ask the inspector, you can do so. For us here this morning, we're looking at driving impairment this morning. You made mention of erecting billboard signs and bringing more awareness to, as it relates to the topic at hand this morning. As it relates to your position as the inspector for traffic here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, apart from this campaign right now, outside of that, do you see that being one of the number one cause for accidents at the roundabout as well, driving impairment? It all depends on the explanation in which some of the drivers give. And as the investigator, you could fully see that some persons, yes, they do, because some person that tends to want to beat other driver, and they're not focused. Mm-hmm. They're not focused, and the thinking, timing, it's just not matching. They're moving too. Sometimes they drive too fast, and so they underestimate the oncoming traffic. Let's take this call. Good morning, you're live.
Yeah, I had to come back here, we have two lanes, one going east, one going west. So we always drive on as close as we can to our left. Now, when you read the roundabout, yes, you should have a little split division in each lane, just like you explained it. So who going Frigate Bay from Kim Collins, they just come through and swing left and go. And who going Boardwalk, you split in the you either come on the left, or if you're going back down by the gas station, then you come the split left. But here they say now, what causes a lot of accident? Jockey and attention. You're driving fast, and you only put your eye down on your dashboard to see how much miles per hour you're making, or how much gas in the tank. Just that little glimpse in your eye, you could run into people. So when you're going at a certain speed, you don't have no chance to take your eyes off the road and look for nothing. Nothing at all, absolutely none. If you want to check something, make sure that before you is clear, and those who come in close behind you is clear, and you just look, take a glimpse, and go. But too many ignorance on the road, and they used to have a breathalyzer test. I heard another police used to be on the traffic, said that they just be out on the road, especially coming from this trip, and they catch many persons with too much alcohol in the system. So what happened to those breathalyzer machines? We cannot wait until can knock down people and get them in the bed like a vegetable and say that you're going to test driver to see that he was drunk or he had too much alcohol. Those are things supposed to be actively used every day and every night where people are lime and drink and carouse and all kind of thing. So they're lacking. Again, thank you all very much again.
All right, Culture.
Yeah.
Let's take this call. Good morning, your life.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, man.
Let me Bridget.
Yes, Elbow.
Elbow. I listen you all with this driving about the roundabout. I don't think it's the roundabout problem, I think it's the people, because you're going to tell them you have a license, and that license for so long. And every time you're driving year after year, you don't know your roundabout in St. Kitts. And before you got to go places like in a big country, you can't drive without a license. I think the problem is the people, not the roundabout, the people. So that is my input.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
All right, blessed love. Let's take this next call. Hey, good morning, your life.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, morning.
I just want to revisit a comment that was made by the traffic sergeant sometime recently. As to the cone that the establishment put on the road right now in Basseterre, the sergeant said it's illegal, but yet you find it still happening, and I'm not seeing policing in that area, especially on Central Street where there are certain businesses putting out cones where somebody like me who trying to park can't get to park because they're doing something like this. And the next thing I want to comment on, I believe that what the traffic persons them in town should kind of emphasize some more on the areas where the traffic lights are, because they have drivers and pedestrians still doing anti-click. That's just my 2 pence.
All right, thank you, man. All right, number of calls there. I'll let you address them before we take any more. Don't want you to get lost.
As it relates to the caller with the breathalyzer, as I indicated earlier, the breathalyzer is not, the law for the breathalyzer is not enacted, so we still have to take persons to the hospital. And I will do my best and put forward strong recommendation in getting that piece of legislation be enacted. As regards to the roundabout, as the caller rightfully said, it's human behavior, and the roundabouts are there for so long, and you are driving for so long. It's just for you to grasp on the use of the roundabout. As I said earlier, depends on where you are traveling. You must keep left and you must go right. And you also have to give way to traffic on your right. Once you comply with these instructions, you will master the roundabout.
And the cone issue. I know it wasn't you, but he made mention of the cone issue in town.
Well, my advice to that, if you want to park and persons put items in the road, you can move the items, safely put them to the side and park. Once the signs is not placed by the traffic officer or any officer, you can remove those those items out the road and you put them to the side, providing that there's not maybe any work being done to that particular building or something. But otherwise than that, you could remove them out the road and park properly.
Now, I want to piggyback off of that statement and go back a few calls to our earlier caller who spoke about courtesy and driving. Now, I've heard him many times, and what it sounds like he's saying to me, even though you should exercise courtesy, they're not, and it can cause confrontation. That example you just made a while ago, don't you think that can cause confrontation as well? Seeing that this individual put down the cones and then another individual come and decide, well, hey, I'm moving them because you're in police. Don't you think that can lead to confrontation as well?
Yes, and to avoid that too, they could also always call the police officer to assist.
All right. There was another issue was raised. I'm trying to remember. All right, it'll gonna come to me. Other than that, we have just about 9 more minutes left inside of the program. And you're welcome to call with your questions, your concerns, and even suggestions if you have any. Talk about suggestions as it relates to the roundabout, Inspector. From where I sit, the issue with the roundabout is that everyone has their own idea of using the roundabout. Some people decide that, hey, I'm coming, inside is the left lane and outside is the right lane. You know, everyone has their own concept of the roundabout. And for me, that is the issue at hand. One set of drivers is using it, saying, okay, this is the way to use it, and another set of drivers is under the notion this is the correct way to use it. We'll get back to that in a bit, but let me take this call. Good morning, you're live.
Hi, good morning. I tend to disagree with the sergeant in relation to the taking the right when you're coming from the Kings Collins Highway. Because if I am coming from the Kings Collins Highway and I am going to Rams, I shouldn't take a right. That right is going to be taking me back onto down by the gas station. You're supposed to stay on your extreme left, and that is why accidents are being caused there. Because if you're going to Rams, the arrow points to either Frigate Bay or the direction of ECCB. That is on your left. So you are to stay on your extreme left if you are going to Rams. You can't be in the right and then you have to cut back in to go left to go Rams, and that is why accidents are being caused there. So traffic would have to do something in relation to marking those lanes, or else you're going to have accidents there all the time. I witnessed one last year. A vehicle was coming from Frigate Bay. The vehicle was in the right, and they were going to Rams. But the vehicle coming from Frigate Bay, apparently they assumed that the vehicle was going in the opposite direction as opposed to going straight to Rams, and that is because the vehicle was in the right lane, and then you have to come left. So if you are going left, you have to stay in the left lane. That is my input.
Thank you for your call. And that point just made my point stronger. Every user has their own concept of using the line. Clear that up for us, Inspector.
Well, presently, as we speak now, the roundabouts are being remarked. And we will have some clips on the use of the roundabout as soon as possible. We already spoken with the guy at ZIZ.
Okay.
TV.
Okay.
So that will be cleared up shortly.
Now, that last caller made, was challenging you in terms of disagreeing with you in terms of the roundabout use. Is she right? Is she wrong?
Okay. If you're going to Rams and you're in the right, always remember that the persons who coming from Frigate Bay have to give way to traffic on your right. So if that vehicle is going, you give way and you let it proceed. But as I was saying earlier, if they want to come back on Pond Road or go back to Kim Collins, they remained over in the right-hand lane.
Okay. Let's go back to the phone line. Oh, we lost that one. You can always call back. Just have about 5 more minutes left inside of the program. Good morning, you're live.
Hey, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
I have to call back about the roundabout in 1 minute. the simple solution to the roundabout in this country, single file, you give way to traffic on the right hand side. As the lady is saying, whenever you're going to the roundabout, it's simple common sense. You keep on your left. And what makes the common sense more blatant, listen carefully, all the exits are on your left hand side. So when you go to the roundabout on the right to go out on your left, you just simply stay on your left. And there's nowhere on the main road. The roundabout is only a modification of the main road. There's nowhere on the main road. Somebody's passing you, they are right of way. Okay? So please change the roundabout to single file and give way to your right, and all the problems are going to be solved. That's the way the old roundabouts have been constructed. Thank you very much.
Any comments, Inspector?
Point taken, caller.
Let's take this next call. Good morning, you're live.
GQ,
Yes, Culture.
brother, that last call and the lady, it come like the copy now from his slate. Exactly what I say, all we have to do is stay left, give way to the right. Completely done. What is the difference between the roundabout up there by the central bank and the Clock Circus roundabout? What is the difference between the two of them? The Clock Circus roundabout, everybody stay left and give way to traffic from the right. So we don't need to mark out nothing up there by the roundabout, because that extra mark lane, like the lady said, that is what causing the confusion. Stay left and give way to traffic from the right. No other roundabout in St. Kitts got no division in no lane like up there. So simply that is it. That's all I call back to say, GQ.
All right, Culture. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, morning, man.
Yeah, Miss Phipps and Miss Henry. One question, I wouldn't be long. Has the problem with Lucky's, has it been solved yet? Because you remember what you said over the radio, even though you said what I didn't say, but I didn't say. That problem has been solved as we speak, because every day, again, as I said, we're crossing a main road. And since Lucky opened, this problem has been there ever since, and it seems like nobody could touch it. And this is why I keep saying somebody probably getting the dab, and I will not stop saying so, and a lot of people believe so. How come in St. Kitts and Nevis, police can't know nothing about Lucky? They got exclusive rights about just doing the things that they're doing. You said on radio, it's a driveway. But as we speak now, this is another program, so I hope you adjust the matter. And this been happening for years. I say no more.
All right, I'm going to let you respond, Inspector, but let me take our final call. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, DQ.
Good morning.
To the sergeant there with you. I'm calling on behalf of the crossing on the Wingfield Road to the fit of Wingfield Road. The crossing is absolutely wiped off. And there are children going up there to the daycare center, and the traffic, when they're passing on the main road, they don't give right to the children and parents only when the traffic warden is there. And she's only there in the morning and in the afternoon. I'm calling on behalf to get that crossing paint. You're not seeing the paint there. The traffic warden says she already talking to them about it. That is in a zone where children are going every day. And it's not safe for those buses and things that pass across there. That's my intake for today. Thank you.
All right, my dear.
Adelaide, love you. Bye.
I love you too, man. Take care. Inspector, I'm going to let you address those calls, and we're going to make that call our final one. It's now 9 o'clock. Go ahead, Inspector.
With regards to the crossing in Wingfield Road, call it that crossing will be repainted as well. And with the Lucky's issued, we already dealt with it.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's it, right? And now all the other issues came up before, we were just reiterated, right? All right, so that's it for us this morning. I want to thank you guys for calling in and sharing your point of views here with our inspector from the traffic department. And look forward to our conversation next week, same time, same place. Take care. Our 9 o'clock report is up next. Compliment the Grange.